Of all days, today just had to be the worst for a flock of oversized chickens to attack. And of all places, they had to pick this one. These freakish birds, known to most as beltos, might be fearsome creatures, but they didn't stand a chance. The entire swarm was effortlessly wiped out by none other than our boy. The awakeners who were supposed to handle the situation are still standing there in disbelief, trying to make sense of what just happened. To them, it seems like some unknown powerhouse must have stepped in and taken care of the beasts. But it just doesn't add up. Nobody in this country is strong enough to take down that many monsters in one go, and without ever being seen. Well, unbeknownst to them, the mysterious savior is none other than Kang Chul-ho, the quiet owner of a small, tucked-away restaurant that just happens to be located right in the middle of the attacked zone. Normally, he wouldn't bother with this kind of mess, but when it comes to belto meat, known for being absurdly juicy and mouth-wateringly tender, he just couldn't resist, so he butchered the entire flock and brought home a generous haul for the kitchen. Just as he's prepping the ingredients for a new dish, the front door opens. A visitor from the Awakener Association shows up, apparently sent to check on Kang after the belto attack. Of course, our guy is totally unfazed. If he's being honest, this sort of thing has become routine for him. Just another Tuesday. The representative is visibly relieved to see that no one was hurt, especially since most of the locals had already cleared out in time. The damage was minimal. That's a win in any book. Then the man's nose twitches. Something in the air smells incredible. That heavenly aroma wafting from Kang's place pulls him right in. If the restaurant's open, that is. Kang, never one to turn away a potential customer, lets him in. As the association rep steps inside, he takes note of how spotless and perfectly arranged everything is. The interior feels like something out of a high-budget film. He takes a seat and asks for a menu, only to be met with a surprise. Kang's place doesn't do menace. The meals are based entirely on what ingredients are available that day, and today's special is belto steak. That one phrase grabs the man's full attention. After all, those are the same monstrous birds that attacked not long ago. According to the reports, the legendary Master Gamu was the one who dealt with all 10 of them in an instant. Kang simply smiles and nods, thanking the brave hero for the assist, never once hinting that he was the one who actually did the work. Truth is, those beltos might have been terrifying, but they're even more impressive when grilled to perfection. Kang's confident this customer's going to fall in love with what's coming, but the mention of steak makes the man sweat a little. Premium cuts like that usually come with premium prices, and he's not sure his wallet is ready. Meanwhile, Kang grabs a cleaver and gets to work, slicing precise, even steaks. The seasoning is simple, just salt and pepper, to let the flavor of the meat shine through. As Kang cooks, let's rewind the clock. Nearly 30 years ago, Kang found himself suddenly thrown into a completely different world, a cursed realm crawling with dragons and man-eating monsters. The early days were a living nightmare, but by some twist of fate, he awakened terrifying power, strength that made even dragons hesitate. Over time, he grew powerful enough to take down the Demon King himself. That victory bought him a one-way ticket back to Earth, but the Earth he returned to wasn't the one he remembered. Monsters had spilled into this world too, turning once thriving cities into battlegrounds. Still, Kang was determined to pursue what he had always wanted: peace. After 3 decades of constant battle in a hellish world, he had no desire to fight anymore. No more blood, no more war. Just peace, quiet, and food. Luckily, the chaos had a silver lining. The outbreak caused some humans to awaken abilities of their own. That marked the start of humanity's counteroffensive. With new awakeners rising every day to protect the world, Kang realized his strength was no longer needed. So he stepped away from the battlefield, opened a restaurant, and dedicated himself to perfecting his culinary craft. As this tale unfolds, the steak is finally ready. The dish looks flawless, juicy, seared perfectly, with a rich aroma flooding the room. The rep's mouth is practically watering just looking at it. He wasn't expecting much when he arrived, but now he can barely stop himself from drooling. The moment he takes the first bite, his eyes go wide. The flavor hits him like a freight train, juicy, bold, with just the right mix of sour and spice. It's absolutely divine. The same beltos that had him sprinting for his life earlier are now lifting his spirits. He dives back in for another bite, then another. It's not long before the entire plate is polished off. Once he's done, it's time to settle the bill. But today must be his lucky day. Kang doesn't charge first time guests, much to the rep's shock. A 5-star meal, completely free. Every ounce of exhaustion fades from his body. He feels alive again, grateful for the experience. He still insists on paying something. Kang finally agrees to accept $10. The man pays happily, then pauses on his way out to make a heartfelt request. Stay safe. These are dangerous times for those without powers, and if things go south again, Kang should evacuate immediately. The rep hands him a business card, just in case he ever needs help. The city's seen a lot of change. Not long ago, this district was a ghost town. Now cafes, bars, and small shops like Kang's are thriving again. It gives people hope. The rep reminds the humble chef that he's just a call away. With that, he heads out. Kang stays behind, thinking about how hard life is these days for folks folks without powers. That's why he respects people like that rep, people willing to risk everything to protect others. Finally, Kang takes a bite of his own cooking. A smile creeps across his face. It's damn good. Night rolls in, and it's about time to close up after a satisfying day. But before shutting the place down, Kang decides to whip up a late-night snack using some of the Belto eggs he snagged earlier. He's mulling over which dish would best highlight the unique taste of the egg when the door swings open with a loud slam. A stranger storms in, clearly pissed off, not bothering with any pleasantries, and starts yelling at Kang. Our boy is totally confused. He has no idea what this guy's problem is. But from the yelling, one thing becomes clear. This stranger is here to claim something he believes belongs to him. To really grasp what's going on, we need to rewind the clock a few hours. Back in the bustling Sotoman traditional market, the scene is alive with countless vendors shouting over one another as they try to sell their wares. Amid the chaos, our guy is casually making his way through the crowd, searching for ingredients to restock his kitchen. Ever since the monster outbreaks began, things like livestock and fresh vegetables have become incredibly scarce, making even basic groceries hard to come by. With the shortage of traditional ingredients, humanity has been forced to explore other options just to keep food on the table. Still, not everyone's fully on board with the idea of using monster meat. That said, people are slowly coming around, either because monster meat turns out to taste surprisingly good or because it's dirt cheap. Those who still refuse to eat it usually depend on lab-grown protein and synthetic vegetables. But let's be real, none of that compares to the flavor of real monster ingredients. That's exactly why the Sotoman Monster Market has become so popular. It offers a wide range of monster-based food products. One merchant is advertising a fresh batch of Belto eggs, though even he doesn't seem completely confident they're the real deal. Monster eggs often look pretty similar. After all, according to the Awakeners Association, these have been officially labeled as Belto eggs, but Kang isn't one to take someone's word at face value. Before making a purchase, he activates one of his abilities, Detect Eyes. It's a unique skill he stole from a silver dragon named Canes, who ruled over the northern mountain range in his past world. This ability lets him view the stats and background of any target. He originally acquired it while chasing down the Demon King, and to this day, it remains one of his most reliable abilities. A flurry of notifications pops up, confirming that only one of the eggs is truly from a Belto, the rest from totally different monsters. Thanks to this ability, Kang avoids being scammed by shady vendors trying to sell knock-offs as high-end goods. After picking out the one genuine Belto egg, something else catches his attention, an odd egg that his artifact can't seem to analyze at all. The fact that Detect Eyes returns nothing is rare. Intrigued, he decides to buy that one too, suspecting it might be something special. Back home, he cracks open the Belto egg and cooks it right away, throwing together a fluffy, scrambled egg dish that instantly floods him with nostalgia. The rich, creamy taste of Belto egg mixed with cow's milk melts on his tongue, bringing back bittersweet memories of rare meals shared during war-torn days. Back when food was a luxury and the company of comrades meant everything. Snapping back to reality, his attention shifts to the strange egg. Given that his artifact can't read it, Kang suspects it might be a dragon egg. He knows from experience that dragon-related items can't be read by Detect Eyes, since dragons are immune to their own kind's powers. That explains why the scan failed. Realizing the absurd luck involved in stumbling across a dragon egg, he's already thinking about how best to cook it. That's when his door slams open. A red-haired guy storms in, yelling and demanding something that belongs to him. Kang immediately feels something's off. Just like with the egg, his Detect Eyes isn't showing any data on this fiery intruder. That's when it clicks. The guy's a dragon. Kang calmly asks about it, and the redhead erupts with rage, flames dancing around him as he demands to know how Kang figured it out. Trying to de-escalate, Kang warns him not to damage the furniture, but the dragon insists on answers first. Not wanting a brawl in his clean restaurant, Kang admits he's using an artifact that can identify beings, except for dragons. Hearing that, the redhead becomes suspicious, asking how Kang got his hands on such a rare artifact. Kang hopes the guy has Detect Eyes too, because then it'd be easier to explain everything. But what really throws the dragon off is Kang's calm demeanor. It's not often a human stands tall in front of a full-blooded dragon. That's when he spots Kang's kitchen knife, crafted from blue dragon scales, and a cutting board made from dragon bone. These sacred items being reduced to cooking tools enrages him. He roars, flames blazing, but Kang just sighs, already feeling the hassle this is about to become. The dragon hurls a blazing blue fireball, but Kang casually smacks it aside with a frying pan, launching it like a baseball. Then, using god-tier speed, he zips across the room and slaps the redhead across the face with that same pan. The blow jogs something in the dragon's memory. A voice from the past, back in the old world Kang, then known as Miro Likes, once approached approached the Dragon King demanding his artifact. The redhead was a child then, when his father, the artifact's owner, refused. He knew their family was doomed. Mirolichus was notorious on the continent. Returning to the present, Kang tells the redhead to mop the scorch marks off his floor before things get worse. Reluctantly, the dragon obeys. As he scrubs, Kang starts asking questions, like where he's from and how he knows so much about detect eyes. As we've seen, this guy hails from the continent of Espan, the same place Kang fought the Demon King. Apparently, a dimensional rift opened and sucked him into this world, along with the egg. The mention of Espan sparks memories in Kang. No wonder the recent monster sightings felt so familiar. They're from that world too. Introducing himself, Kang shares his former title, Mirolichus, though these days he goes by Kang Chul-ho. The dragon finally realizes Kang is the same man who faced off with his father. Once the dragon finishes cleaning, Kang lets him take back the egg. But before he leaves, the dragon has one question. Why didn't Kang return the artifact after beating the Demon King? Kang asks for the name of his father, and the redhead replies, Ekmund Rex. Of course, Kang remembers him. No wonder the kid's aura felt familiar. Kang calls him over and promises not to hurt him. After all, he gave up roughing up dragons decades ago. But the redhead isn't buying it. Kang doesn't look a day over 30, let alone 60. Kang confirms he's around 60, older than the dragon, who admits to being in his 50s. When Kang points out the arrogant pride dragons are known for, and how only harsh discipline corrects it, the dragon doesn't appreciate the threat. But he's not about to risk his life either. Kang clears up some misunderstandings. The dragon scale knife and bone-cutting board. Gifts. He never killed a dragon, though he admits to punching a few. As for the artifact, it shattered during the battle with the Demon King. Even if he wanted to return it, it's long gone. He offers his apologies. Feeling generous, Kang invites him for a drink. The redhead takes it as an insult, sharing a drink with a human. Blasphemy. But by the end of the night, he's completely hammered, while Kang remains stone cold sober. The dragon boasts that Kang is the first human he's ever drunk with. Kang shrugs. It's not the first time he's been called the first human in history for something. Kang then asks who laid the egg. Turns out the egg is actually his younger sibling. When a dimensional rift opened in their lair, his parents were away, so he and the egg got pulled into this world. It's been about 6 months since. He flips the topic and asks Kang where he went after defeating the Demon King. Rumors in Espan said he disappeared. Kang says he had unfinished business to handle. Once it was done, he returned to Earth. Curious, the dragon wants to know why someone as powerful as Kang is wasting his time in a small restaurant. He could rule the world, or at least help fight the monsters threatening it. He rants about how humans are selfish, power, hungry, and never satisfied. Even after the Demon King fell, humans resumed fighting each other. Kang agrees. That's human nature. But he's no longer interested in power, titles, or saving the world. He's done with that life. After 3 decades of war, he just wants peace. The redhead doesn't believe him, but Kang doesn't care. Before parting, he tells the dragon to take good care of his little sister. You can tell how much the guy adores her. He's cradling that egg like it's the most precious thing in the world. Eventually, the egg hatches. The little dragon breaks free, stretches her wings, and takes flight for the first time. Kang asks if she's been named yet. The redhead hasn't thought that far, so for now, she's just hatchling. When asked about her gender, he confirms she's female. Kang already seems fond of her, with tiny teeth and a face that reminds him of a millet. He figures dragons must be omnivores. Then Kang casually asks if they've got a place to stay in this world. The redhead doesn't answer, probably means they're homeless. Kang's likely to invite both of them to stay at the restaurant. In another world, on the continent known as Espan, a terrifying storm once raged, prompting demons to migrate alongside it. Every gust of wind carried the scent of battle, awakening old memories in a mysterious figure with radiant, flowing hair. With a soft smile, this person murmured the name Mirolichus, remembering the final drink they shared. Let's return to our cheerful little diner, where our protagonist has just served a magnificent hamburger steak. After feeding the meal to a dragon and his newborn sibling, he casually asks if they'll be heading off now. As part of his diner's unique tradition, he doesn't even charge them, though under normal circumstances, the meal would cost 10. Hearing this, the red-haired dragon excitedly inquires if the diner also provides lodging, hinting that he might be homeless. Despite his immense power, even a dragon isn't safe from the wrath of inflation nowadays. Kang can relate to the dragon's position, realizing that the creature must feel deeply alienated in a strange new world. Dragons are typically proud, self-absorbed beings who bask in their own majesty, yet witnessing one in a moment of vulnerability and loneliness is something rare and remarkable in Kang's eyes. He imagines scholars from the other world would be endlessly fascinated by such a sight. The son of Ekmund Rex offers a grade 4 mage stone, an item considered extremely valuable by human standards. But seeing the dragon handed over so casually, Kang can't help but laugh uncontrollably. Meanwhile, the baby dragon seems to have an endless appetite and still wants more to eat. As he feeds her again, Kang reflects that raising an infant dragon in this world might be even more troublesome than simply surviving. In a quiet moment, he finds himself missing the other world, haunted by the voice of the person he once shared drinks with. A pang of regret hits him as he accepts that he may never get to see her again. Despite turning down the request for lodging earlier, he changes his mind and offers the two dragons a few days of free shelter. In truth, it's less about generosity and more about trying to soothe his own feelings of loneliness. The redhead begins to feel uneasy, overwhelmed by the number of favors he now owes. After a moment of thought, Kang points to the ground and opens a dimensional portal, his own personal subspace. There, Kasum, the immortal goblin, greets his king after what seems like ages. Strangely enough, Kasum is wildly stylish for a low-ranked monster and absolutely unkillable within this space, which he manages on Kang's behalf. Kasum refers to Kang as king, but Kang isn't fond of grand titles and prefers to keep things simple. When asked what he needs, Kang requests a report on their collection of magic stones. Kasum replies that their supply is nearly limitless, though they possess only 5 of the highest grade stones and 120 of the standard high-ranking ones. Without hesitation, Kang tosses the grade 4 stone to Kasum to store away, and the goblin accepts it without asking a single question. Just as Kang prepares to end the conversation, something crosses his mind. Meanwhile, the red-haired dragon stands speechless, stunned by how meaningless even top-tier magic stones seem to Kang. Kasum bows respectfully and bids farewell, addressing him one last time as Kang Chul-ho of the human world. With that matter resolved, Kang turns and assigns several tasks to the red-haired dragon. The story jumps to the following day, where the baby dragon is seen sleeping peacefully, even as chaos rages outside. She's in such deep slumber, it's practically a coma. Kang, however, is growing increasingly frustrated with her brother, who believes that every problem can be solved by lobbing a fireball at it. Kang's current goal is to teach him how to focus his fire breath precisely, without setting everything nearby on fire. Holding a skewer with a slab of meat, Kang instructs him to target it. The dragon successfully grills the meat to a flawless finish, exactly as intended. What surprises Kang more is the skewer itself, a rapier pulled from his dimensional storage. Despite being exposed to dragon fire, it remains untouched. This weapon is known as the Rekapel shaft, crafted by the legendary dwarf Rekapel, who dedicated his life to forging this divine blade. It's considered one of the finest weapons in existence. Yet, here's Kang using it as a cooking utensil. While this annoys the dragon, Kang argues that at least he puts his artifacts to practical use, unlike dragons who hoard treasures without ever touching them. From this, the redhead realizes Kang's personality is vastly different from that of a typical dragon. You might remember the civil servant from earlier. Choi is back and delighted to dine again at the cozy establishment, relishing another flavorful dish prepared by the best chef around. He's also surprised to see that Kang already has a new worker, which causes the red dragon to flinch awkwardly. In a more serious tone, Choi brings news of a strange, newly discovered dungeon beneath the city's passageways. Because of this, the organization Seodaman is actively recruiting awakened hunters to neutralize the threat. This leads to a deeper explanation of what dungeons actually are in this world. Kang reflects on how they serve as storage zones for monsters, essentially functioning as gateways across dimensions via rifts. Incidentally, this is the same method by which both he and Khan, the son of Ekman Rex, arrived in this world. Curious about the danger level of the dungeon, Kang learns that it's rated at grade 5 or higher. This means Kim Sang-gu and his team Zanaku will be dispatched by Seodaman to handle the operation. Sang-hu is the same man who appeared at the beginning of the story. From another faction, Shinchan's side, a woman named Cheon is leading her own squad. Her name is unfamiliar to Kang, but it turns out she is the ice witch guarding the Seacon region, while Sang-gu is the spear mage protecting Seodaman. Choi adds that a backup team is also being formed, just in case things go south, which is why they're accepting applications. He speaks from the heart, saying how upsetting it is to see job openings for dungeon raids, especially when many people can't qualify due to lacking the awakening trait. Only the elite are chosen, leaving others behind even if they have families to support. In a way, he believes unawakened people might live better lives, free from mortal danger and with more stable careers. Realizing he's out of time, Choi thanks Kang again for the delicious meal and takes his leave. Proud of his small contribution, seems quite pleased with the praise. Kang begins thinking about restocking his supplies, especially the prized Ataho meat, and heads to the local market. While chatting with the butcher, he overhears a recruitment call for a raid team. He spots a man in the distance who looks familiar. It's Sang-hu, the grade 2 spear mage. Just like Choi said, they are actively looking for new party members. Let's take a closer look at these so-called parties, or raid groups, which resemble the format of traditional RPG systems. This structure feels very familiar to Kang, who used to enjoy such games in the past. Now, reality itself seems like a fantasy game. Predictably, the roles are imbalanced. There are too many DPS players and not enough tanks or healers. Due to this surplus of damage dealers, many find it hard to get a spot in a raid. This moment reminds Kang of Choi's earlier comments about how hard it is for people who aren't outstanding to even find work. But Kang thinks Choi should be focusing more on his own situation rather than worrying about others. Just then, a man checks his wallet and finds it empty. Defeated and dejected, he walks off with nothing left. Later, back at the diner, Kang looks around for the redhead dragon but can't find him. The kitchen is spotless, which is a relief. Suddenly, the same man from before walks in, looking troubled. Too embarrassed to ask for Raymond, he's quickly reassured by Kang, who insists it's no problem. problem. As he starts cooking, Kang reflects on how ramen remains the go-to affordable meal even after 30 years, though inflation has driven up its cost as well. When asked for the price, Kang replies it's only 2. This instantly brightens the man's face, and he eagerly orders 5 bowls. Kang is amazed by his appetite. Sensing something odd, Kang activates his detect eye skill and peers into the man's class. It's god of food, a strange and rare trait, but Kang knows of it, having seen it in one of his former teammates. The ability boosts physical strength with each meal consumed, and the quality of ingredients directly influences the results. Eating high-level monsters can transform a person's body into something like a bodybuilder's physique. However, the class is notoriously hard to level up early on. It only shows its true potential when one consumes elite monsters, and those with the trait are constantly hungry until they've advanced further. Sadly, this man seems poorly matched to his ability due to his inexperience. Still, Kang decides to go all out. He prepares a giant serving of ramen topped with grilled ataho meat, something college students would dream of having every day. Shockingly, the ataho meat is offered as a bonus, showcasing Kang's generosity. He sympathizes with people going through hard times, knowing that those like this man are often the first to die in battle. Had his personality been any different, Kang might have ignored him entirely, but with the way things stand, he hopes the ataho meat will grant him at least a slight power boost. Kang mentions that, as per diner custom, the first meal of the day is free, referring specifically to the ataho meat. The man takes a bite and is stunned by how tender and flavorful it is. He follows it with a huge slurp of ramen, finishing everything in no time. Grateful and full, he thanks Kang for his kindness. As he tries to pay, several items fall out of his wallet, including a necktie. Kang finds this odd, especially as he collects the money. The man quickly departs, promising to return. Based on his outfit and the tie, Kang wonders if the man is trying to impress someone. This adds to Kang's understanding of how challenging daily life has become. Not long after, that same man comes across a gate while wandering the streets. A dimensional gate looms in the sky, prompting an immediate evacuation of the civilians as barricades are quickly set up around the area. The same man from earlier steps forward, insisting on joining the battle as an awakener. But when asked about his rank, he struggles to explain his food-related ability. Unfortunately, the officials inform him that they can't just let any ordinary awakener participate in a high-level dungeon raid. Even elite members have come back injured, so it's far too dangerous to accept someone without proper qualifications. He's told to evacuate to safety, but then his eyes catch sight of one of the healers nearby. To his shock, it's his own daughter. Rushing toward her, he scolds her for coming to such a dangerous place, saying she should be in school right now. His daughter calmly explains that she couldn't just sit around doing nothing while people were getting hurt. That's also why the school allowed some students to come and help with the healing efforts. She is even more surprised to see her father here of all places. She tells him bluntly that she doesn't need his protection and lashes out, pointing out how all he's ever had is a useless ability to eat and work. He barely even comes home, and now suddenly he wants to act concerned. Deep down, Mijin feels bitter toward her father. Not only is she forced to earn points for her scholarship through work, but now he's making her look weak in front of everyone. She pushes him away, and in the process, a box containing a necktie falls to the ground. Mijin coldly reminds him that he doesn't even have a weapon to protect himself. Just then, the spear mage Sang-hoo arrives and declares the dungeon raid officially complete. As the battle ends, the injured are quickly brought to the healers, and Mijin has to rush off to assist them, leaving her father standing there feeling completely helpless. Meanwhile, Kang is at his place, calmly cleaning his blade while reflecting on the idea of classes. He explains that a class represents a particular kind of ability. There are 5 main levels or ranks to master before reaching the peak of one's class. In this world, awakeners attend a specialized education system called cipher schools. These are similar to regular schools but designed to nurture and develop awakeners' skills. Once someone masters the first stage of their class, they're given a chance to choose a second class depending on their circumstances and preferences. Those who manage to reach mastery in 2 classes are usually granted a higher status by the association. However, this requires relentless effort and is something most people cannot achieve. Kang mentions that if someone is stuck with a bad class, they are often forced to find a niche that suits them to survive. There's also a 6th class that exists, one that Kang himself managed to unlock during his final battle. Since reaching that point, he hasn't progressed any further, concluding that he may have reached the end of his path. Just then, the red-haired dragon runs in excitedly, eager to share some good news. His baby sister Kyle has spoken her first words. The name Kyle is new to Kang, and he realizes that Kang must have chosen it. According to him, Kyle joyfully called Kang Papa, a moment so adorable that it melts his heart. It's a moment of pure joy. Interestingly, the baby dragon gave herself the name Kyle as a sign that she now belongs to this world. The little marshmallow keeps repeating the word, Papa, which makes Kang gently pat her head. He notes that dragons are unique because they're born already possessing mastery over a class. Now, they're both curious about which class Kyle has inherited and look forward to discovering it one day. At that moment, a familiar customer walks into the diner. It's the same struggling man from before, and he orders the same dish. While Kang prepares the food, Kang sits with the man as he opens up about his recent encounter with his daughter. He explains how she's working herself to the bone to earn a scholarship by healing the wounded, and how powerless he felt when he couldn't even stand beside her. He was told to evacuate evacuate because his ability was too weak to be of any use. His daughter, however, is incredibly gifted. Even at her age, she ranks as a third-class awakener with excellent grades and talent in healing. It's only a matter of time before the association fully recognizes her. When he first came to the diner, he had actually intended to attend her school's observation day, but he couldn't afford proper clothing, so the only thing he could buy was a necktie, which made him feel pathetic despite trying his best. Now, he feels that maybe it's better to give up on visiting her school. He sees himself as a failure of a father who couldn't even support his child. He starts to cry, admitting that even in such misery, he's still starving. Kang listens carefully as the man explains that he's just a low-ranked awakener whose class revolves around food. He has to keep eating in the hopes that one day, he'll grow strong enough to help someone. Without saying much, Kang gets up and turns to Kan, casually asking if he can fatten the man up. This remark freaks Kan out, who thinks Kang might be planning to cook him like a monster. Kang then chuckles and says it's just a joke. His eyes fall on the skin Kyle shed earlier, which sparks an idea. He plans to use the skin for the next dish, even though Kan protests. He had hoped to keep it as a keepsake. Soon, a steaming bowl of extra large Tahoe ramen is ready, topped with the finest ingredients. The man recognizes it as similar to the dish he had before, and Kang tells him to eat as much as he wants. Quietly, Kang observes as the man devours every last bite. Once finished, the man thanks him, pays for the meal, and expresses his gratitude for having someone to talk to. Before he leaves, Kang offers him a simple but heartfelt piece of advice, one that's worth remembering. Life is hard for everyone. Things might be more manageable if some struggles weren't so overwhelming. But in Kang's experience, those who keep working hard will eventually find a stroke of good fortune. He encourages the man not to give up and promises to be there for him as a constant presence. With a warm smile, Kang sees him off. Unbeknownst to the man, Kang had added Kyle's shed skin into the ramen. It would surely benefit his development down the road. Kan, curious about why Kang is helping the stranger so much, asks him directly. As Kang softly strokes Kyle's cheek, he replies that it's probably because his own father had lived a life just like that. Maybe that's why he can't ignore someone going through the same struggle. The scene transitions to later that night, where the same man quietly returns home. His daughter is already asleep, but he notices something touching. Mijin had picked up the necktie and brought it back. As she sleeps, she turns toward him and begins to cry, apologizing for the things she said earlier. He gently looks after her and apologizes too, silently acknowledging the shame he feels for what their life has become. But no matter how difficult things are, despite all the regrets, he still loves her more than anything in the world. The next morning, he rushes to a new job site. Panting and out of breath, he hands over his registration card to the recruiter, who recognizes him as Kim Manhwa, the same guy who messed up during the dormant section incident at the Yongdongpo dungeon. The recruiter notes that it'll be a serious problem if Manhwa screws up again. Luckily, the Zenkaku team saved everyone last time, so no damage was done. For now, the recruiter just tells him to give it his best. Above them, the gate begins churning with a wave of dark energy. The recruiter calls an end to the recruitment phase, confirming that the team is ready to head out. Elsewhere, Kang is taking a calm walk in the fresh morning air when he's suddenly caught off guard by a chaotic scene unfolding before him. Even Sang-hoo looks stunned at how intense the situation has become. According to the data they received, a team of class 5 to 7 awakeners had entered the dungeon, but to everyone's horror, a hidden boss has emerged inside the very same dungeon where Mijin's father has gone. Let's dive deep into the heart of the dungeon. It's a forest-themed environment, and almost immediately, Manhwa finds himself under sudden attack by a dinosaur that looks like it walked straight out of Jurassic Park. Instinctively, he delivers a reflexive uppercut, instantly killing the raptor in a single blow. He comments on how strangely energized and motivated he feels. Oddly, despite expecting to be hungry by now, he hasn't experienced any physical weakness. Then, one of the team members calls attention to a strange crack forming inside the dungeon wall. The ground starts to shake violently as a powerful earthquake erupts, and from that crack bursts a massive Tyrannosaurus Rex with an earth-shaking roar. This creature turns out to be the hidden boss. These kinds of monsters usually appear without warning, triggered only when a dimensional rift forms within the dungeon. The appearance of such a creature typically results in the complete annihilation of the cleanup crew, which is exactly what's unfolding. While the Tigrex monster goes on a rampage, Manhwa's team scrambles to escape. Amid the chaos, Manhwa catches sight of mana crystals dropped by the raptor he had defeated. They're of fairly good quality and could be worth a fortune if sold. Desperate for any sort of gain, he recklessly dashes toward the crystals, even with the gigantic dinosaur still on the hunt. Surprisingly, instead of devouring him, the monster smashes into him with its head, sending him flying through the air. With that single blow, Manhwa is hit with the realization of just how weak and unprepared he truly is. He had rushed into this dungeon driven by the simple wish to bring happiness to his daughter. As he lies there, memories of her flood his mind, especially the moment he first held her in his arms. Her innocent words echo in his head, reigniting a fire inside him. If he dies here, his daughter Mijin will be left alone and vulnerable. Driven by that thought, he rises again, summoning all his courage to confront the Tigrex. Even though the odds are crushing, he refuses to back down. His fighting spirit flares, and he channels every ounce of strength into one focused punch straight at the creature's mouth. To his shock, this triggers a sudden evolution, a rare and powerful rank up. He feels transformed. The pain and hunger vanish completely. The monster itself pauses, clearly stunned. It lunges at at him a second time, ready to devour him, but Manhwa now stands firm. He blocks the massive dinosaur's attack with both of his hands. Though the sheer weight forces him backward, he refuses to give in. At that critical moment, a team led by a spear mage arrives, having responded to the hidden boss alert. The mage is stunned to see what looks like an ordinary man holding back a grade 2 Tigrex all on his own. It's a clear display of grit and willpower. Sang, the spear mage, praises Manhwa for his bravery and even jokes about wanting his business card after the fight. Upon assessing Manhwa's new abilities, it's discovered that he's evolved into a Shikshin class, a unique combination of a tank's endurance with a DPS raw offensive power. On the sidelines, Kang watches the scene unfold, genuinely relieved that Manhwa managed to reach a grade 3 evolution. It's a major turning point, especially considering Kang played a key role in getting him out safely during the earlier stages. With the battle over, it's finally time to return to the diner. Back at the cozy restaurant, their precious little marshmallow yawns sleepily. Meanwhile, news broadcasts are buzzing about the defeat of the hidden boss, and Kim Manhwa is being celebrated as the hero who helped save his party. He stood firm against the monster's special ability, broke through to grade 3, and earned the MVP title of the raid. His face even appears in the newspapers, much to the delight of his proud daughter. The Awakener Association officially recognizes his efforts, giving him a proper rank and a generous monetary reward. Kang, now back in his usual role at the diner, is gently tending to the baby dragon. He wonders if she's been reading the paper, especially since she feels slightly heavier than before. She still calls him Papa, and while he playfully denies it, the way she gazes up at him with those soft eyes makes it hard for him to resist. Just then, a news report breaks in with an update about a notorious thief who has been causing trouble in the Moon region. This mysterious individual seems obsessed with shiny objects and has been stealing low-grade mana crystals at an alarming pace. The association is now preparing to take action. Viewers are warned to stay cautious until the culprit is caught. Kang finds the story amusing at first, but then the baby dragon offers him a cup of water. His heart melts a little from how cute the moment is, until Kang suddenly intervenes, shouting at him not to drink it. That's when it's revealed that Kang is practically radiating panic. Turns out the water is filled with bacteria. Apparently, Kyle learned about water wells from an illustration book, but here's the twist: she can't tell the difference between a proper well and a toilet. Kang freezes, horrified, realizing he was just seconds away from drinking toilet water. The scene transitions with comedic timing to Choi's third visit to the restaurant. He's once again blown away by the food. This time, Kang has prepared a dish called kakoi, which impresses even more than the last. Not long after, Manhwa enters the diner, looking like a completely different person from before. He's brought along a special guest, the spear mage captain, who had heard rumors about the famous diner and its owner. Choi jumps up from his seat in surprise and respect, while the captain appears unimpressed by the presence of an association agent. That same agent is taken aback to learn that Manhwa is closely associated with the powerful mage. We also learn that Manhwa now has a new identity. He's known as the Shikshin warrior, following his heroic display during the recent dungeon raid. In this world, people are given new titles when they accomplish something noteworthy. Manhwa expresses his deep gratitude for Kang's help back when he had nothing. Kang, as calm as ever, says he had been expecting him. True to form, Manhwa orders ramen, the dish he always gets. The spear mage decides to try it as well. When the food arrives, Manhwa devours it in a single go, impressing the captain with his ferocious appetite. The spear mage then suggests that Manhwa take the rest of the day off and go visit his daughter at school. He insists there's no reason to hang around when he's earned a break. Manhwa leaves with a smile, and Kang can't help but admire the healthy and respectful work dynamic between the two. Things quiet down quickly after that. Kang looks around and notices the spear mage dozing off in his seat. In the next scene, we see a tense moment between the spear mage and Kang. The captain is clearly angry, accusing Kang of touching a divine creature and setting it off. The beast flashes a sinister grin before releasing a wave of terrifying flames. If you're excited for the next part, leave a comment, and I'll do my best to bring it to you as soon as possible.